Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit it. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, a joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
A Monday inside the Country Financial Studios. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, breaking down a packed weekend in Oregon athletics. Both the basketball teams were in action. Oregon women's basketball went on the road, got two huge wins, including a ranked victory against Maryland. Oregon men's basketball, Matthew Knight Arena against Iowa. We'll break down that game. Oregon tennis, both the men's and the women's team in action over the weekend. Oregon women's golf currently out on the course as we speak. Oregon track and field was participating in the Razorback Invitational, as well as some pros at the Millrose games that were over the course of the weekend. And it is game week for Oregon softball, and we are within 2 weeks of Oregon baseball starting. It is the first show in the month of February, which means that we are almost to the spring season. We're breaking down Oregon women's basketball against Maryland and their big win over the weekend. We'll also touch on men's basketball and softball coming up on the show as well. A 68-61 victory for Oregon women's basketball against Maryland, and it was a stellar performance for the Ducks, in particular in the fourth quarter. This was a game that Oregon, it felt like the Ducks needed to secure another big top 25 victory on their resume. After Oregon won against USC, the Ducks had lost a few of these big ranked high net quality games in a row. But on the road against a Maryland team that was ranked number 17 in the country, Oregon came out firing. The Ducks were leading after the first quarter. The Ducks looked like they were in control largely through the second quarter. Then Maryland goes on a late run going into the break, actually takes an advantage headed into the break. But the second half, and in particular the fourth quarter, was all Oregon. The Ducks outscored the Terrapins 24-11 in the fourth quarter. And no doubt the star of the game, Ahis Atute. She was excellent. The game of her career. 26 points on 10 of 15 shooting. She had 11 rebounds, 3 assists. She was excellent in this ball game. She has continued to grow more and more as Kelly Graves has inserted her into the starting lineup. Some honors for Ahis Atute in the week. Ahis Atute with the performance in that game and also the performance against Rutgers, named the Big Ten Player of the Week. Ahis Atute. 21.5 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, shot nearly 70% from the field over the 2 games in the East Coast road swing. It's the first time that Oregon has had a Big Ten Player of the Week since joining the Big Ten Conference, and this was no doubt the game of Ahis Atute. She was excellent. Had a lot of accenting players around her. Katie Fiso, Sophia Bell, they played really well, but Ahis Atute dominated in this performance on the road against a top 25 Maryland Terrapin team. Chris Clayton and Kelly Graves having a conversation post-game after a huge resume-building road win for the Ducks in College Park, Maryland. Here's their conversation.
Was promised on the post-game show. Ducks head coach Kelly Graves. Coach, kind of like USC, right? A huge fourth quarter. What was the difference in the 24-11 fourth quarter?
Well, he said Tute was a good start.
Right.
And then defensively, I thought we just really locked in. It's funny, we had that tough sequence toward the end of the first half, but other than that, we really controlled pretty much the entire game. We just had that, they had that run. But no, I thought our kids executed really well. Our turnovers were a little high. When we struggled, it's because we were trying to do too much. But when we just settled down and tried to run something in the half court, And usually that something ended up with trying to get the ball inside to Hees. We made it work. We executed it, and really it was a tremendous game, tremendous effort by our team.
Alucia Kanawa for Maryland. We talked about her in the pregame, knew she was going to be tough. 23 first-half points, and then only 4 in the second. What changed?
Well, I just thought we focused a little bit better. Our help was better, okay? We didn't foul her like we did in the first half as much. But I really liked our game plan going in. We wanted to take away Poffenbarger and Garzone from the 3, and we did that tonight. So, listen, they're hard to take everything from, right? And so 7 was going to have some driving lanes because we were sticking to those 3-point shooters. If they're making threes, like they certainly can, then number 7 becomes, I don't even try to pronounce her name.
Okay.
She becomes even tougher,
right.
Because now they can get it all going. And so it was one of those pick your poison. I get to give Jody Berry a ton of credit. I thought she did a great job tonight, with the scout and coaching the team. I thought all the coaches did a great job. But the players, they really stepped up when they needed to. And those stops late in the game, the last couple of minutes, you've seen us. We've been in the games like this before, and we haven't always finished them. And it was great to finally finish one tonight. And, great crowd and an amazing opponent. The atmosphere here is incredible. You look at all the history. This was a really, really great win. Certainly one of my most memorable.
That's awesome. And, we talked to you and multiple players about what have you learned from the close losses? And it feels like maybe those lessons really helped today. I mean, valuing possessions, making winning plays. Do you feel like those lessons from previous losses played out here today?
Well, I sure hope so. That's the whole plan, right?
Yeah.
If you lose those, hopefully you learn from them, and I think we did. I thought, Katie was under control tonight in that fourth quarter. Didn't take, some quick shots, and the other person that needs a ton of credit is Sophia Bell.
Yeah.
She was on number 7 for most of that second half, and she didn't get a rest. We didn't take her out. She's like that robo player that just keeps going and going. And then she hit those huge threes and then a couple important free throws. So I thought Sophia Bell, the other players sometimes get the attention, and they should, but she's really our anchor, certainly the defensive anchor.
Well, it's going to be a long flight back home, but the vibes will be good, right?
Isn't that the truth? Right? I was thinking about that, going, oh, man, we've got a long night, but we might as well enjoy it because tomorrow we got to forget about it because, well, you don't. You can have fun on Sunday.
I'll celebrate.
We're looking at the next opponent, which I think is Illinois, right?
It is,
oh, my goodness. So, yeah, you played great tenure. Now we got to play Illinois. So we'll enjoy it for a little bit. But, again, for all the Duck fans that are listening, man, I hope they're really proud of this team tonight. They just, what an effort, and it's in their minds too. Some of these close games, it's in their minds, but they overcame, and I'm proud of them, happy for them. I hope I don't get wet when I go in there. the water thing, it's like run its course.
Yeah.
I watch the football and they douse the Gatorade and everything.
Do you have an extra pair of clothes?
Well, I do, but they're packed away in a cold bus underneath.
It's going to be an ordeal. Yep.
So, yeah. But that's all right. I'll take one for the team if they do it. I actually told Brielle, no water.
Okay.
No water.
Maybe they'll use Gatorade.
Douse each other because they got a shower anyway, right? They're the ones that sweated and worked.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Coach.
A big win for Oregon women's basketball, 68-61 against Maryland, and I can confirm there was no water in the post-game celebration, just a big celebration for Oregon women's basketball on the road, the win against Maryland. It was an excited post-game locker room. There was dancing, there was cheering, but it seems like everybody stayed dry for the most part in a close-fought victory for Oregon women's basketball. A big win for the Ducks. Oregon, they just, quite frankly, they shot better than Maryland. That was the difference in this ball game. On the road, in their gym, Oregon shot 45% from the field compared to 37% for the Terrapins. The Ducks, 33% from three. Not the greatest shooting performance from deep, but they held their opponents to 13%, just 2 of 15 from beyond the arc. Everything else was pretty even. Oregon turned the ball over a few more times. The Ducks also got a few more rebounds. The bench points were pretty similar. They were actually tied in bench points. They were tied in second chance points. They were pretty close in points in the paint. Everything was the same, except for the fact that Oregon just converted on their opportunities more when they had them. You make more shots, you're going to win more games. If everything else is equal, Oregon made more shots than Maryland. Where does the resume stand for the Ducks at this point? Oregon moves up to 21 in the net rankings. It's a strong resume for Oregon women's basketball as they now have 2 Quadrant 1 wins. And now the Ducks, after they had that 4-game losing skid a few weeks back, are now on a 3-game winning streak and will now host 2 very talented teams inside Matthew Knight Arena. Illinois coming in. They're a top 35 team in the net. That game will be played on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And then on Sunday at 6 o'clock, Ohio State comes into town. It is a top 10 ranked Ohio State team. It is a 20-3 ranked Buckeye team and a team that is ranked inside of the top 20 in the net rankings. 2 big matchups now inside of Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon with some momentum coming into these games, and deservedly so because the Ducks played really well. 68-61 the final against Maryland. Ahisa Tute was awesome, 26-11. I do not think that Sophia Bell should be overshadowed for her part that she played in this game. You heard Coach Graves go out of his way to mention it. She was excellent in this game, not only defensively in the second half, but also offensively. She was the second leading scorer, 16 points for Sophia Bell. She was 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from deep. It was necessary, her performance, in particular in the second half. She is a true 3-and-D player. She can lock down the opposing best scorer on one side, which she did against Okinawa in the second half. You heard Chris Clayton in his conversation with Kelly Graves, only 4 points for Okinawa in the second half of this game against Maryland once they put Sophia Bell, the Ducks did, onto her in the guarding assignment, and then just knocked down 3-pointers, especially in the fourth quarter. I think 3 of the 4 threes that she hit were in the fourth quarter, a necessary swing for Oregon women's basketball. Sophia Bell has been playing really well lately. Katie Fieser also chipped in 8 points. Mia Jacobs with 6. Ari Long, she played really well on both sides of the ball as well, had the best plus-minus in the game for Oregon women's basketball. Ultimately, a gritty and a gutsy win on the road for Oregon women's basketball to get a top 25 victory and a top 20 net victory to boost the resume against Maryland. Carry the Ducks into a home swing the next 2 games, Wednesday, Sunday, against 2 quality opponents at Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon men's basketball also in the midst of Big Ten play, breaking down their game, the result from Sunday. When we return after this, it's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Stuck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday, breaking down all of the Oregon athletics that went on over the weekend. Oregon women's basketball with a huge win against Maryland. It's Oregon softball game week. Oregon track and field, women's golf, men's and women's tennis, all in action over the weekend. Oregon lacrosse is almost here. Oregon baseball is almost here. It is that time of year, and it's an exciting time around the University of Oregon. Unfortunately for the Ducks, the Oregon men's basketball team just hasn't been able to find its footing. Last night against Iowa in Matthew Knight Arena, the Ducks 18-point loss to a talented Iowa Hawkeyes team, 84-66. In Oregon, you can tell the fight this team is playing with, in particular early. These games have stayed close and competitive despite the vast amount of injuries that Oregon has been dealing with throughout the course of this season. But you get into the second half and you go up against a talented team and a talented player like Bennett Sturtz. 32 points, 7 assists, 0 turnovers for the Hawkeyes' best player. Unfortunately for Oregon, that's just not going to win very many games. For the Ducks, like I said, for the women, when you outshoot your opponent, when a lot of other things are equal, you're not going to win very many games. And Oregon shot just 41% from the field compared to 59% for the Hawkeyes. The Ducks 24% from three compared to 45% from the Hawkeyes. The Ducks just didn't defend well enough in this game, and I think Dana Altman would tell you that. Oregon had 3 scorers in double digits. Kwame Evans Jr., he has been continuing to play really well and with a ton of heart and effort, and he's really trying to carry this team. 18 points, 6 of 14 shooting. Couldn't knock down the three-point stroke, just 1 of 7 from deep, but he had a solid game. Takai Simpkins had a solid game with 16 points, 5 of 11 from the field, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And Des Lindsey with one of his better games of the season. He had 10 points. He had a massive dunk that sort of sparked the crowd and some momentum for Oregon in the first half. And then he had 5 rebounds and an assist as well. But ultimately, Oregon, a second half where they get outscored by 9 points, a first half where they get outscored by 9 points. That's an 18-point differential for the Iowa Hawkeyes to get an 18-point win over the Ducks in Matthew Knight Arena. The reactions from Coach Altman post-game, and a disappointed Coach Altman with another loss in conference play. It drops the Ducks now to 1-10 in conference in the Big Ten early this season. Just hasn't been the way that Oregon's wanted to go throughout their conference slate. Here's Coach Dana Altman post-game after the loss against Iowa on Sunday.
Box score seemed to indicate getting stops was an issue, particularly second half.
Yeah. No, it's an issue of experienced, well-coached team, and the other one wasn't. We're not well coached. We're not disciplined. We took some bad threes. Guys trying to prove it at one end. I'm not sure we focused on the other end. Our deflection numbers were, we had 5 the first half, 2 in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Our activity defensively, especially that second half, they shoot 70%. And, KJ's fighting it hard. When Bennett got it going, KJ took him and at least slowed him down a little bit. But, we had no answer for him. There's projected first-round draft choice that, showed it tonight, just really knows how to play and does a great job. We defensively just didn't get it done. And then, our 3 percentage, just kind of figure it in my head here. We were 17 of 31 inside. It wasn't, a bad number, but we took some quick, bad threes. And, just like I said, fundamentally, we're not sound at all. And we're playing guys that don't have much experience. F.A., Way, Jamari, Sasha, Luke, Drew, Those guys haven't played much for us, but, we just fundamentally, we're not very sound.
Is it effort not trying fundamentally, or is it just lack of skill? Or
Some of it, we just, when things weren't going our way, gave into it a little bit. Kind of the Nebraska thing where, you miss a few shots and your energy level goes down, which is a natural thing for most teams. You got to really fight it. This team hasn't fought it as well as it needs to.
Danny, you talked a couple weeks ago about, despite all the injuries, there's still a standard that you want to see these guys play to, no matter who's in the lineup. Is that just something that's lacking right now?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Just as I mentioned, the deflections, which, is just activity, our rotations, those are all fundamental things that you have to play really hard to get, but we're not doing them. And again, I can use inexperience for those guys, playing guys that, we didn't anticipate playing. But bottom line is, those guys have to be ready, and they're not, and that's on me.
How do you keep everything, spirits elevated?
Well, it's been tough because of our schedule. I mean, you play ranked teams and teams that are talented, and we've played other than Washington. I know Washington's still trying to get in, but you take Michigan, Michigan State, Nebraska, Iowa. These are all NCAA tournament teams, and without Jackson, without Nate to give us some stability, and you take 65 minutes off the floor, it just makes a difference.
This kind of a little bit of a break between now and your next game. Does that help at all?
Well, I hope so. We'll have Tuesday and Wednesday to really practice. We head over Thursday night to Purdue, practice Friday, and then play Saturday and Monday. I'm hoping two really tough places to play, two tournament teams, well coached. So, yeah, we're going to have our hands full. I'm hoping, maybe get Nate back. Big E is out for the season. He's having shoulder surgery tomorrow, out of town. So he has that, and Dev has a groin injury. He's probably, out for at least 3 weeks, maybe out for the season. Jackson out for the season. So getting Nate back, will be important.
Have you been to, played or coached at Purdue again?
Oh boy, I was an assistant at Kansas State back in 1987. It would have been December of '87. We got beat 29. Came back in the NCAA tournament and beat them. So they were a 1 seed that year, and we played them in the Sweet 16. But we went to Purdue and got beat, I think 29, if my memory serves right. I just remember we got killed right before Christmas. It wasn't a very good Christmas. Haven't played at Indiana, but I was an assistant at Kansas State when we went to Purdue 100 years ago.
You mentioned Dez being one of the guys this week that had an opportunity for more growth. What did we maybe see in the last 2 games from him? Just areas of improvement, but also areas that he's shown improvement.
Well, his defensive awareness is got to get better, but he did go get 5 boards. I didn't think he took bad shots today. Had 1 bad turnover in the first half where we got him the ball underneath and he struggled with it. But no, I thought Dez did a good job today. Much better than what he's played in a few ball games. So no, I thought he had a good game.
And then the growth for FA, what does he need to do this last 6 weeks of the season?
Well, he hasn't played. He was out. He didn't even practice, so he's way behind, and the kids from overseas have had trouble, adjusting to the pace of the game and the intensity defensively that you need. They're all offensive oriented, and defensively we've really struggled, with our foreign players.
What you said, Nate could be back this weekend?
Well, we're hoping. I didn't say he's going to be. That's me trying to get a glimmer of hope. And so, just look at the points in the paint. 44-26. I mean, I'm hoping Nate, can take a few of those away and get us a few, maybe even that stat up. But no, we didn't have any answer for their guards, and we didn't have any answers for anything that second half. That's for sure.
Oregon men's basketball, not the result the Ducks were looking for. It's been a tough stretch for the Ducks, and ultimately Oregon is continuing to get a little bit more banged up as well. You heard the update from Coach Altman on a few different players. They're hoping that Nate Biddle can be back in the fold, maybe even as soon as this weekend. Optimistic to get one of the key players for Oregon men's basketball back in action for the Ducks as we continue to move forward through the course of this season. More seasons are right around the corner for Oregon as we enter into the month of February. February 2nd means that Oregon softball is playing this week. Getting updates from the student athletes, what they've been working on, what they're excited about for a team that will be playing in Clearwater, Florida on Friday. Coming up after this timeout on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon.
It's a Monday inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, getting you geared up for the spring season. Yes, it's right around the corner. It's happening this week. Oregon softball going to Florida across the country to play in the NFCA Clearwater Classic, and Oregon has a tough schedule out in front of them. A whole lot of postseason teams, a whole lot of teams that made it to Super Regionals from last year, and it starts off with a doubleheader on Friday. 10 a.m., the first pitch for Oregon softball this season against Missouri as they go on the road to play in Florida. Also, Clemson coming up on opening day for Oregon softball. Those are 2 games in what is going to be a 5-game tournament for Oregon in the opening weekend starting on Friday. Yeah, Oregon softball season, it is here, and that means the players are ready to go. Just a few days ago, the players all spoke with the media, and somebody who made a massive impact on last season was Lindsey Grine. For my money, probably the best pitcher in the entire country last year. She was unhittable, untouchable, and a huge reason why Oregon was able to go all the way to the Women's College World Series, and she is back as the anchor of this staff. Lindsey Grine, her growth, her development, now in the second year with the program, going for her last hurrah with the Ducks. This is a new look Oregon team, but with a lot of similar faces and even more lofty and aspirational goals. And Lindsey Grine, a huge reason for that. Hear from Oregon's ace on Oregon Softball Media Day, getting ready for the season that's starting on Friday. Here's Lindsey Grine.
Lindsey, in the course of the build-up to the season, going against this team every day, the scrimmages, the batting practice and whatnot, what are you most excited that the fans are going to get to see out of this team as the season begins?
Yeah, I think our group we just have fun. Like, hard work to us, it doesn't feel like hard work because we have fun while we do it. So I think we make the things that are challenging to the eye or difficult to the eye, we make them look easy. And that's really fun. For me personally, I'm excited to have all of my teammates on my team. Facing our hitters, it's a challenge, but it's fun, and you know that you're going to be prepped and ready to go because truly our lineup is the best lineup we're going to face all year. So why not practice against that?
Just what's the experience been like for you this offseason, getting just to be here the entire time versus coming in last year from the transfer portal?
Yeah, I mean, being a Duck is the best decision I've ever made. So getting to have another fall here and just spend my last year here as a senior, it's been really special. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So yeah, I'm super honored and blessed to be a Duck, and yeah, I've been loving it.
What do you see this staff, and being a part of the staff last year, is really exceptional. This staff seems a little bit deeper, at least on paper, and the opportunity, the higher floor, better ceiling. What do you think being on the inside of that?
Yeah, I think our pen is incredibly talented just across the board. I'll start from freshman on. We have Maddie Milhorn, and Coach is right. Like, she does a casual 72, and it's easy for her. So to watch her throw gas and compete against our hitters this fall has been really a treat. She's incredibly talented. And then you have Rowan, who moves the ball like she has a wand in her hand, and it's just insane. And Taylor has been absolutely outstanding this fall as well. Throws gas and works the ball well, up, down, left, right. And then you have Elise, who commands her changeup really well. So I think all of us have the little things that we're really good at, but the part that makes us really cool is like you put all those pieces together and we work really well cohesively as a group. So I'm so excited to pass the ball with my fellow bullpen mates this season. So
with Taylor specifically, after last year was a bit of a down year for her. How have you seen her trying to build that confidence back up and get ready for the start of this season?
I mean, Taylor, I feel like she's never had to build any sort of confidence. Her confidence has always been there. She's had it from the get-go. I think that's something, being her teammate, like, talent has never been a question for her. I think she's outstanding at what she does. And I think it's just now she's going to have the opportunity to show it. I think she's always been great since I've met her. So she's been awesome.
A lot of impactful seniors graduating a year ago. What can this year's senior class do to kind of uphold the standard that they left?
Yeah, I think this year it's a big focus on just looking at what I'll start by saying is Paige and Kai and Ked did a really good job of just seeing what everybody had to offer and allowing those ideas to be brought to the table. So I think that's something that our senior class wants to focus on, is to really spread that leadership across all ages of our team. I think each class and each person has something special to offer. So embracing that and what everybody's individually good at, and calling them up and knowing when to lead, knowing when to be led, it's really important for this group. So embracing that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you pitched more innings last year than you did in an entire season and the couple years prior. How much did that kind of help you build your durability now going into your senior season?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great opportunity to be able to throw as much as I did this last year. I think it just really, you hit a point after throwing so many pitches, you just want to go in and get the job done and win the game. So I think for me, having an approach of taking each pitch as its own, going one step at a time is going to be really important for me individually and for our team this year. I think with the schedule that we're playing is just take everything one step at a time.
Coach mentioned being excited, just the level of competition you guys get to face this opening weekend, and with someone like Carolyn Pickens on Tennessee, just especially like the pitchers you're going to see, just how exciting is that for you to try to raise your game to match them like you did last year when you're dueling her?
I mean, what I will say, I stand by my point of the scrimmages and us playing against each other. That is the hardest lineup I will ever face across the board. I think what we have to offer here, it'll prep us for anyone in the nation. So I think if we can play ourselves and we can win against our own Oregon inter squads, I think we'll be fine for anybody. So I'm not too worried about them. I'm worried about us.
You've been playing the sport your whole life. I'm curious, what's it been like just kind of seeing it kind of explode over the past couple of years and during your time in college, with the professional league and, just kind of the explosion of women's college softball?
It's truly been a blessing. I think from when I started, there definitely wasn't as much popularity around softball as there is now. I think it's been really a joy just to be able to share I know our group's love of the game with people around us. Softball's fun and there's a lot of good to it besides just the athletic part of it. So being able to share that has been super cool, and giving female athletes a platform, to speak and to be seen is also really cool. To be able to share faith is truly a blessing as well. So it's been really cool.
When you have expectations around you after a year like last year, preseason All-American, how do you kind of manage those and not let that kind of get to your head and keep yourself level throughout the season?
Yeah, and to be fully transparent, I mean, for me, it's like that they don't mean anything. You haven't done anything yet. So I think for me, it's just take everything one game at a time, one pitch at a time, and just go throw. I think our whole staff, our whole team is trained really, really hard this off season, this fall. So game time, that's just an opportunity to go show what we can do and have fun. And I think that's what our group does very well. So yeah, we don't pay too much attention to that.
Last year's team was exceptionally fast. Getting to see that from the mound or from the circle, what would you say this team is going to be able to show and demonstrate? Could you put it into a couple of words?
Yeah, I think, we're still pretty quick, but I think this group, we won't really necessarily have to be as fast because the ball is going to leave the park. We got some power, a ton of power in our batting lineup. Like I said, I stand by the point of facing our lineup is the hardest lineup I will face all year. So I think that's going to be something really fun and exciting to watch with Virgin 8. And two, Oregon takes a lot of pride in their base running and in their defense. And I think that standard has been maintained. So I think we have a lot to offer on all sides of the game.
Emma graded out as one of the best framers in the country last season. Just how much of an impact do you feel her back there? I mean, she missed a time last season for about a month or so. Just when she's not back there, how much of an impact do you feel with what she does defensively, just setting you guys up with the framing and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying I'm fortunate to be able to say that all of our catchers do an outstanding job. Regardless of who's behind the plate, whether it be Emma, Bracey, or Trinity, they're all incredibly talented at what they do. So as a pitcher, it's very comforting to know it doesn't really matter who's behind the plate. They're going to get the job done. To speak about Emma, I mean, she's talented. She's really, really good at what she does. And I think just with any of our catchers, to be a pitcher and to feel like the catcher's throwing a ball with you and you're working together as a team, to feel that sort of connection on the mound is special. And we absolutely have that here amongst our whole staff. But yeah, Emma's really good at what she does, and it's been a joy playing with her.
How have the transfers kind of gone on since they've been here? You were a transfer last year. What have you kind of done to help them along in this, this change?
Yeah, I think one of the first things I had said to our transfers is we want to hear from you. Everybody has a different experience and different knowledge to bring to the table. I think Amari, Addie, and Elon, they're both amazing athletes, amazing players, and they have a ton of knowledge too. So embracing the feedback and suggestions that they have has been huge for our group. So I've learned a ton from honestly them and the way their approach when they hit, and just being able to have that conversation with them has been really great. So definitely just encourage them to speak their mind and just be as much as part of it as if they've been here since they're day one of freshman year.
Anything else for Lindsay?
Who are like some of the more fun and competitive at-bats? You mentioned the scrimmages being your hardest competition. What are some of those at-bats that are the funnest or like most competitive versus your own team?
Yeah, I mean, I think any given day, it's anyone's day. It's really just who's going to bring it. Most recent that I can remember, me and Elon were going back and forth for a couple weeks back and forth. She'd win some, then maybe I'd get some, and just back and forth. So that's been really fun because it's, you have to come up with new ways to get a really good hitter out, and that can be tricky at times, and it's what makes the game fun and entertaining. So it's been a lot of fun throwing to her. But like I said, all of them are pretty intense.
Spend any time practice throwing at dirt clubs?
Oh gosh. That poor girl. Yeah, no. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of me blinding my catcher. She does a lot of good things for me, so don't want to do that again this year. But
it was a fun clip from the Women's College World Series last year when Lindsey Grind kicked up some dirt, then spun the softball, then it flicked the dirt right into the face of Emma Cox, which I'm sure was not fun for Emma Cox, but it was fun to watch. It was mesmerizing, and it's going to be mesmerizing to watch Lindsey Grind back in the circle once again coming up next season for Oregon, as she was the true ace of what was a deep staff last year. And the way that she talks about the rest of her bullpen, the rest of her staff this season, it's going to be even deeper in the circle for Oregon softball this year. Getting to hear from that catcher that may have gotten momentarily blinded, as well as a stellar freshman from last year that continues to make a power surge and jumps here in Eugene. Coming up, we're still previewing Oregon softball as it's game week on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Getting you geared up for Oregon softball Game week here in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you on a Monday, which means we are 4 days away from Friday, which is when Oregon softball will be in action. And somebody, probably Lindsey Grime, maybe Lisa Kolsky, will be towing the rubber. Maybe both. They're playing 2 games in the doubleheader day to start off the NFCA Classic down in Clearwater, Florida. And some freshmen who made big impacts and are continuing to grow in this team now in year 2 with the program. It's hard to continue to rise when your opening iteration into the program is, going to a Women's College World Series, but the sky is the limit for Emma Cox behind the dish and Stephanie Maake, who continues to hit balls further than maybe anybody we've ever seen at the Jane. There are some talented freshmen that are now turned to sophomores on this Oregon softball team, getting you geared up for year 2 with the program version 8 under Coach Lombardi. Emma Cox, Stephanie Maake, just less than a week away from first pitch, getting you geared up for the season. Let's hear from the 2 stellar sophomores.
Having a full season under your belts and getting to experience last year, what are you guys most excited about for this season, and what opportunities and potential do you see?
Yeah. I'm just super excited to be able to play with this group. We're a very physical team. Us in the weight room, we push weight every morning. Conditioning wise, we get faster every time. I'm just excited to play with this group because we got newcomers in, and then we have some veterans. But just to be able to gel together and play next weekend against some big teams is exciting.
Yeah, I'd say experience is one of the most useful assets. So I'm really excited to go into year 2 knowing that both my successes and my failures are both going to help me in this next coming season. So knowing that and having confidence in my preparation, but then also not taking that for granted and continue to look at everything as an opportunity for me to have more experience. So both twofold.
We heard from Coach earlier that it sounds like it's going to be a thumpier lineup. Steph, obviously, you're returning with second most home runs on the roster. I'm curious, kind of where's that identity coming from for you guys, and what are you looking to, show off this year?
I think the long ball is going to be a big one for us. We got Amari and Elon, and so they just hit the ball extremely hard, extremely far every practice, and so just to be able to bounce off of that and last year's successes, I think will help us in the long run.
What do you feel like you've been able to pick up from them? Just those are veterans who have a lot of experience at some of the highest levels of college softball in the SEC, ACC. What have you been able to pick up from them in terms of tips at the plate and stuff like that?
I think it's just to forget about my previous at bat. So if I had a bad one, I'd go either to Amari and she's, you know what, forget about it. And I'm just like, all right, breathe. Elon's very calm and quiet, and so I just know like what's going on in her head. I'm just like, okay, gotta hit the restart button and just ball out.
Yeah, I'd say both of them offer a lot of wisdom when it comes to offensive game planning. I go to both of them actually quite often because I think they do a great job of keeping things simple, but then also, like what Steph said, having a short memory and keeping things simple and doing their job.
Emma, you get most of your staff back, obviously, with the addition of one new pitcher. Can you just talk about the relationship with you guys and how that's kind of gotten a little bit stronger, like in the off season, what you guys are looking forward to this year?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love our pitchers so much. They're such a good time. I'm really excited. Maddie adds a lot of energy to our bullpen. And then with all the returning girls, I value them on the field and I love playing with them, but I love spending time off the field with them even more. So I just think as we continue to spend time with one another, our ability and synergy on the field will get even better. So I'm excited for the opportunities there and just excited to continue in relationship with all of them.
How would you define the identity of this team in a couple of words?
I'd say very physical.
Physical. I would say grounded. Yeah.
That's a good word, Emma.
Thanks.
What have you guys both put an emphasis on this offseason and in January scrimmages?
For me, I think I've put a lot of emphasis on the mental side of the game and game planning, especially offensively, which is why I'm so grateful to have transfers like Amari and Elon, who I can kind of bounce ideas off of, and also Riley, great offensive mind. So I think that's what I've put a lot of emphasis on, and I'm excited to continue to work on that.
I would also say the mental side and the mindset. I still talk about last year's at-bats and knowing that if I keep talking about it, it's just going to get to me more. And so just putting it in the past and just focusing on what's next.
Last year, Stephanie, you had to play a lot of first base down the stretch, especially in the postseason, obviously with Riley going out with the injury. Just aside from that, for both of you, how does Coach Lombardi prepare you both and the entire team just to be ready for any situation at any given moment?
I think just giving us opportunities during practice and just putting us in situations like game-like situations during practice and just having everybody rotate in and out. I also think Coach Lombardi does a great job of preparing us not only for the physical side, but also for the mental side, as well with Coach Rowe. And so I think that just helped a lot last year.
Mm-hmm. I would say I also think a big part of our team and something we pride ourselves on is the fact that we're not just the 9 on the field that are playing at the same time, but we're actually all 23 of us against one opponent. So we kind of take that mindset into practices and into scrimmages and whatever we're doing. It's all of us or none of us, you know? So it's not just one or a couple.
What's the message been from you guys as sophomores now to the new freshmen in the program?
I remember how great our seniors were last year at making us feel welcome and just comfortable. So I think that was one of my biggest goals with this freshman group. Paige, Kai, Kedri, Abby Mulvey, Stacy, Des, all of them did a great job of just letting us be who we were at the gates. So making our freshmen feel comfortable and being able to be themselves, and then celebrating the good and the bad with them as they continue and gain experience.
I think for me, it's just letting them know that we're there for them and that they can be leaders no matter what grade or what age they are, just because you never know what's going to happen. So Taryn, as a middle infielder, has a job where she needs to direct the infield or something, like letting her know that she can do what the seniors can do and just lead by example as freshmen.
Segueing off of that, never knowing what happened. Emma, you missed some time last year. What would you say you learned the most while you were sitting out, watching the team, and how would you apply that to the coming season?
It's a great question. I always said that my identity wasn't in the sport that I played, and then I broke my collarbone and sat out for a long time and realized that my identity was totally in the sport that I played, and I let a bad practice bleed into my night. I let a good game bleed into the next week because I wasn't sure of my identity outside of softball. So having that taken away and having the opportunity to build my identity in something more lasting, which I believe is Jesus Christ, but then also just continuing to take that into every day and then leaving the field at the field. And then when I show up at the field, being ready and having a good attitude. Definitely work in progress, and we're still working on it. I'm grateful for the opportunity to keep working on it, but also grateful for the opportunity to honestly sit out last year and reevaluate.
Emma Cox, Stephanie Maake getting geared up for their sophomore seasons. What a stellar sophomore group that this Oregon softball team had. I mean, the freshman group from last year just produced so much across the board, especially in the lineup when you have Emma Cox and Stephanie Maake, and that doesn't even mention players like Kaylin Jones, as well as Riley McCoy. So much talent in the young talent for Oregon softball continuing to grow with this group. You bring in the influx of a bunch of different transfers coming in. You have a pitching staff that has so much returning production. Oregon softball, a top 5 team for a reason, getting into game action coming up this Friday in Florida. A doubleheader starting this Friday, a whole slate over the weekend for Oregon softball, getting you geared up. So many other sports are in action as well. We're breaking down everything that happened over the weekend in Oregon athletics when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, getting closed out on a Monday show, breaking down all of the other sports that were in action over the weekend. Oregon track and field on the indoor scene. They went to the Razorback Invitational, had some really good showings, including Ben Smith in the men's shot put, who put together a school record toss, 19 meters, 82 centimeters. That's a new school record in the men's shot put for Ben Smith. Peyton Bear competed in the heptathlon. He became the number 4 heptathlon performer in NCAA history with 6,371 points for Oregon in the men's heptathlon. Huge performance for him. And Shalana Yildiz in the women's mile put up a big performance, both a meet record and facility record of 4 minutes and 25 seconds in the women's mile. Also on the track and field scene, some pro ducks competing in the Milrose games. It was good to see Cole Hawker get to a 2-mile victory. That was really fun to watch, and some big professional track and field. Also men's and women's tennis going on over the weekend. The women lost yesterday to a ranked Texas Tech team, avenged that today with a win over Sam Houston. The men lost to Santa Clara on Sunday. Also Oregon women's golf in action for the first time this season, currently right in the middle of the pack in the Treese Hessian Regional Challenge, going throughout the day tomorrow. That's it. Joey got you tomorrow. Go Ducks, everybody.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve